AI is already wiping out jobs, and Goldman Sachs predicts that 300 million more could disappear. The real question is, when will AI replace your job, and how do you stay one step ahead? In the next few minutes, you'll hear 3 conflicting perspectives on how quickly AI will replace your job and reshape your future. And by the end, you'll know which jobs are on the chopping block immediately, which jobs may be safe for now, and what new jobs could emerge. And at the end, I'll give you a 6-step plan on how you can future-proof yourself. By the way, I'm Mac and Cheesy. I built a $1 million business while having a full-time job thanks to automation. And today, I'm the COO of an 8-figure tech startup where we actively use AI. This isn't theory. I use this stuff daily. So the first perspective, the Tech Pessimist. These are people who believe AI is the end of the world. And it's not if AI will replace you, it's when. A pessimist would say, AI kills more jobs than it creates, concentrating wealth at the top, leaving everyone else unemployed or underpaid. Why do they think this? What's their evidence? Well, I mentioned it, but Goldman Sachs believes that 300 million jobs are at risk. UPenn and OpenAI research suggests that jobs that make $80K a year are at significant risk for heavy automation. If you go to Indeed and look for software engineering jobs, you're just going to see that there's significantly less roles available. And tech giants like Meta are going through hiring freezes. Today, this is happening. And it's not just job replacement. It's also about not needing to hire additional people. And I see this firsthand. At my company with AI, a single software engineer can complete more than what they previously were able to. And if they can do twice as much, that means you need half as many engineers. Generally, I'm a glass half full and I'm an optimistic type of guy. But personally, I'm a little bit pessimistic on a lot of this AI stuff. So much so that I wrote my family a letter called The State of AI, The Time Is Now, because I'm really concerned how it could impact their careers. So how can this impact you and what you're doing today? I put the threat into 3 different timelines: immediate, medium term, and long term. In the immediate bucket, I see this as tech-driven roles that are task-oriented. To see if you fall under this category, here's a quick test. If your job is fully remote and if you make a mistake, it's not catastrophic, AI can likely automate you and your job. Examples of this include support specialists, software engineers, project managers, social media managers, entry-level accountants, writers. I'm sorry, remote workers, but your job is on the chopping block today. In the medium term, call it 2 to 5 years, more physical first jobs and human-to-human connection-oriented jobs will be automated. In the physical category, this includes factory workers, drivers, receptionists, cashiers. Robotics is coming, but hardware is generally slower to adopt than software. It costs more upfront and there's greater lead times. Just think of it like this. You can download an app on your phone in seconds, but you have the same phone for 3 to 4 years. It's the same idea. But when this hits, I expect it to hit very hard. Think of a factory worker. If you could buy a humanoid robot for $20K to replace a worker, you will. End of story. So that's physical. And then there's the human-related roles, called salespeople, doctors, psychiatrists. Personally, I think the tech will be advanced enough to replace these jobs very quickly. But that won't be the bottleneck. Instead, I think it's people like me and you. In these roles, people prefer dealing with humans. But over time, when it's quicker, cheaper, and more available to deal with a robot, people will be willing to use AI. So that's the short and medium term. What about jobs that maybe are at risk in the long term? I consider these your elite professionals, your C-suite executives, your top surgeons, your star lawyers. In my opinion, these roles survive because the stakes are too high to rely on AI alone. That's, of course, until AI becomes flawless. Okay, so that's the pessimist view, but that overlooks a huge truth. And I don't want you leaving this video in the dumps. And so this view ignores a very important fact. With every big shift comes a massive opportunity. And here comes the Tech Optimist, the second of 3 perspectives. They would say, sure, AI replaces tasks, but it also creates brand new industries. AI will free up time for meaningful work instead of having to do mindless tasks. And the optimists, they have historical proof on their side. Look at the automobile era. Carriage stables declined, but mechanic jobs soared. Look at the personal computing era. Typists vanished, but over 19 million plus jobs were created. And top industry professionals seem to agree with this. Here's a US AI and crypto czar, David Sachs, as well as Naval, a legendary investor, in the All In podcast, talking about exactly this. In the All In podcast, discussing how AI will create jobs.
AI conversation leads to an immigration conversation because millions of jobs are going to be lost. We don't know that.
That's also true. I agree.
You're making a huge assumption.
I completely
that's
agree.
buying into the doomerism that AI is going to wipe out millions of jobs. That is not. Those are facts, not an evidence.
I think it's going to create more jobs than any of us are
Have any
imagining.
jobs been lost by AI? Let's be real. We've had AI for 2.5 years, and I think it's great. But so far, it's a better search engine, and it helps high school kids cheat on their essays. I mean, come on.
You don't believe that self-driving is coming? Hold on a second. Sachs, you don't believe that millions...
But hold on. Those driver jobs weren't even there 10 years ago. Uber came along and created all these driver jobs. DoorDash created all these driver jobs. So what technology does, yes, technology destroys jobs, but it replaces them with opportunities that are even better. And then either you can go capture that opportunity yourself, or an entrepreneur will come along and create something that allows you to capture those opportunities.
So you don't have to look back to the automobile era or the Industrial Revolution. Just look at the internet and what that did. The internet revolution happened in front of our eyes, and we saw jobs created by this new tech. Uber created driving jobs. Airbnb created hospitality jobs. YouTube created the creator economy. None of these existed before the internet. So what's next? It's hard to say exactly, but there are likely 3 categories where jobs will be created. Let's look at physical production. Just like we needed mechanics for cars, we'll need technicians for robots, and think even bigger. AI can open up the possibility for more ambitious projects, like underwater cities or space travel. Yes, this can happen if people have free time. And here's a business idea before we get to the other 2 categories where jobs will be created. I would start this today, but I just don't have enough time. And that's a humanoid robot rental company. People are going to want to use these humanoid robots for learning, for productivity, for testing. And just like cars, people are going to want to rent them. It's a massive opportunity. I even looked into it. Comment below and I can give you some more details on that. Let's go to the next category, which is software integration. AI just won't run perfectly out of the box. We'll need specialists to implement, troubleshoot, and combine these tools. And new apps will become far simpler to build, meaning that we can expect a flood of innovative products. Now, the third zone of new job creation is what I think is the most exciting. There's going to be a creative explosion. More automation means more free time, which means more opportunity to create. AI will empower freelancers and micro entrepreneurs like we've never seen before because the cost to build something will be so much cheaper. People will get creative and the economy will flourish. Now, the optimist sees AI as a passport to meaningful work, but let's be real. Progress can be messy. Now, before we get to the 6-step plan on how you can prepare exactly for this AI thing, I need to get to the final perspective. So we heard the pessimist, we heard the optimist, and now this is the category I fall in, the tech realist. The realist would say, AI will disrupt many jobs, but often transform them instead of fully replacing them. Like every major revolution before, it'll be painful at first, but ultimately an evolution of the workforce. And ultimately, we can't avoid this change. And I agree with the realist. And one saying that really resonates with me, AI won't replace you, someone using AI will. And this is why I created this channel, to help people take advantage of it instead of being scared of it. It's coming. You can't put it back in the box. One thing I say to my friends is, if I could flip a switch and get rid of AI tomorrow, I think I would, but I can't. So we're making YouTube videos and we're learning about it. And so here's the 6-step plan on how you can prepare as well. I call it the 6-step realist roadmap. First, acknowledge the immediate disruption. Your job might get disrupted. Your day-to-day may change. Embrace it. 2, look for shifts, not losses. Some of these threatened roles will evolve. For instance, an accountant might become a financial automation integrator, which oversees the AI tools that do the accounting stuff. And this example hits home. My dad and my sister are both accountants, and so this is something that I tell them to prepare for all the time. Number 3, adopt a growth mindset. Embrace lifelong learning. Attend workshops, take online courses, subscribe to really cool YouTube channels and watch those videos. Take the hint, subscribe. Just stay up to date because things change so damn quick. It's honestly crazy. Number 4, hone your soft skills. AI struggles with emotional intelligence, leadership, empathy. It's not a person yet. And these soft skills are skills. They can be learned. A good resource for this that I highly recommend is How to Win Friends and Influence People. And a really good YouTube channel is Charisma on Command. I've watched a lot of their content. Number 5, be ready to pivot. If your industry gets heavily automated, prepare to transition into emerging fields. This is kind of scary for me. I learned in my first job out of college was a software engineer. In my head, I was always like, I can always just get a job as a software engineer. I don't think that's the case anymore. It is what it is, so I got to adapt. And number 6, specialize or diversify. This is a little controversial, but this is something I really believe. If you can't be in the top 1% of your specific category, it's time to broaden your skill set. Having a baseline understanding of coding can prove to be invaluable, but the difference between a baseline and a mid-level probably doesn't matter that much anymore. But if you can be a top engineer, a CTO level, that's still very valuable. So there's the optimist, the pessimist, and the realist. Let me know in the comments which of these 3 you fall under. And if you like this video, you'll love this video about being more productive through AI and automation. I'll see you in the next one. Let's get it.